In a small, forgotten village nestled deep within a forest, legends whispered of a mysterious being that haunted the night. A bloodthirsty witch who preyed on anyone who dared venture outside after dark. The villagers had long feared her, and for generations, families stayed indoors after sundown, securing their doors and windows with salt and iron, hoping to protect themselves. One chilly autumn evening, Mira, a young woman from the village, sat by the dim glow of a lantern in her small home. She had heard the stories all her life, but never fully believed them. "It's just an old tale to scare us," she would say, laughing with her friends. But that night, the air felt different. There was a heaviness, a chill that made her shiver even though the windows were shut. As midnight approached, Mira heard a soft knock on her door. Her heart skipped a beat. Who would be visiting at such an hour? Ignoring the knock, she turned to go to bed. But the knock came again, louder this time. "Mira, open the door!" A raspy, unfamiliar voice called out. Mira froze. It was the voice of an old woman, brittle and dry like the rustling of autumn leaves. She wanted to scream, but fear paralyzed her. The voice continued, now more insistent, as if the woman could sense her hesitation. Desperate, Mira ran to her mother's room. Her mother, hearing the terror in her daughter's voice, quickly instructed her, "Do not answer, no matter what you hear. Sprinkle this salt near the door and light this candle. She cannot cross the barrier." For the next hour, Mira and her mother sat huddled in silence, listening to the tapping at the door, the dragging sound of footsteps outside, and the occasional whisper of the old woman asking to be let inside. Then everything went silent. Relieved, Mira sighed and thought perhaps the witch had left. But suddenly, the sound of soft, haunting laughter echoed through the room. Mira looked towards the window and gasped. There, outside the glass, stood an old woman with hollow eyes, her face pale as death, her lips stained crimson. The witch's eyes fixed on Mira's with an unholy hunger. "I know you're in there, child. Just one drop. Just one taste," she whispered. Her mouth stretched into a wide, terrifying grin, revealing rows of sharp, needle-like teeth. Mira backed away, clutching her mother's hand, both women trembling. Just then, the candle near the door flickered, almost going out. The old woman laughed, her face pressing against the glass with such force that it seemed it would shatter. Suddenly, a rooster crowed in the distance, signaling dawn. The old woman shrieked, pulling away from the window as if burned. With a final hiss, she disappeared into the forest mist, leaving only the faint scent of decay behind. The village was safe for now, but Mira knew she would never forget the terror of that night. The bloodthirsty witch would return, her hunger unsatisfied, waiting for the next soul brave, or foolish, enough to cross her path.